Ciao, sono Macio, oggi andremo a vedere l'album di ritagli di Return to Monkey Island, ovvero il riassunto dei precedenti Monkey Island, ma adesso basta chiacchiere e ce l'andiamo a vedere.
Hey, want to see my Mighty Pirate scrapbook? It's filled with my adventures. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a mighty pirate. That's me, Guybrush Threepwood. That's me, Guybrush Threepwood. In the old days, you became a pirate by completing 3 trials to prove your worth. Treasure hunting is important for any pirate. Mastering sword fighting was more a matter of wits than agility. The test of thievery involved breaking into the governor's mansion. The security was heavy. The pirate leaders were in charge of the 3 trials, acting as judge, jury, executioner, and devoted grog tasters. This is when I met Elaine, the love of my life. She was governor at the time. Things took an unexpected turn while I was working on the 3 trials. Elaine was kidnapped and taken to Monkey Island by the nefarious ghost pirate LeChuck. I scraped together a crew. Carla, Otis, and Meathook joined me on my voyage to Monkey Island to save Elaine. I scraped together a crew. Carla, LeChuck thought he was in love with Elaine. My first ship was the Sea Monkey. I bought it at Stan's used ships with a letter of credit that I, sort of falsified. My first ship was the Monkey Island was a steaming volcanic mystery, covered with jungle and not found on any map. You had to brew a special potion just to find Monkey Island. I made some substitutions, but it got us there just the same. The monkey head opened with a special key that you stuck in its ear. You had to brew a special potion. There were some people living there who claimed to be cannibals, but I think it was just a show for the tourists. I met an old castaway there, Herman Toothrot. He and the locals wrote a lot of indignant letters to each other. LeChuck's ghostly ship was anchored in a lake of lava hidden beneath the island's surface. We wound up back on Melee Island for the stunning conclusion to my first big adventure. I made it to the church just in time to stop the wedding. Or so I thought. It turned out Elaine already had everything under control. How does she do that? By then, I had learned that ghosts like LeChuck are vulnerable to root beer. Just trust me, it works, okay? It was the beginning of something magical. These are from the time I went to find the treasure of Big Whoop. I met my good friend Wally, who makes maps, and I stole his monocle. Good times. The map to the treasure had been torn into 4 pieces, which, let's face it, is about as piratey as it gets. Elaine always seems to know when I need her. I met my good friend Wally. The mysterious voodoo lady at the International House of Mojo taught me to make a voodoo doll, which came in handy more than once. Again, it came down to just me and LeChuck at the end. He was using magic, but then, so was I. One time, Elaine got turned into a statue. Well, LeChuck was behind it, of course. That guy never gives up. The fact that he turned her into a statue tells me LeChuck doesn't really love Elaine. He thinks of her as furniture. I erupted a volcano on purpose. There's not a lot I wouldn't do for Elaine. I got buried alive. It was around this time that I met Murray, the allegedly all-powerful demonic skull, after a rousing sea battle. Things backfired on LeChuck, because Elaine and I got married when it was all over. Game, set, matchmaker. This was a great day. Though in retrospect we shouldn't have had the scum bar handle the catering. That's either Elaine's wedding veil or my handkerchief. We got them to match. This is the daisy we stomped on together. Wedding traditions are weird. Elaine and me together forever. The daggers are symbolic of cutting through troubles, I think. I wrote a great haiku for the wedding invitation. I don't know why you have to have candy-coated almonds at a wedding, but apparently you do. Oh man, this was that crazy time LeChuck teamed up with an Australian billionaire and tried to use a mystical talisman to make Elaine his bride. The ultimate insult wasn't really ultimate, or even an insult at all. Or was it? LeChuck and I battled it out on a grand scale that time. The ultimate insult wasn't... I made a goofy monster out of prosthetic body parts. It didn't help with anything, but I had fun doing it. Everything started because they thought Elaine was dead, so they held an election to replace her. Then there was the time I accidentally let loose LeChuck's pox over the entire Caribbean. Or so it seemed. I had to wear a hook for a while. It came in handy. The death card doesn't usually represent literal physical death, except when it does. I went on trial for my life on 4 separate charges. I defended myself, of course. Oh, here's that voodoo doll from the end of my Big Whoop adventure. I defeated LeChuck with this. His leg came off as easy as tearing a loaf of bread. I defeated LeChuck with...
E con questo si conclude il riassunto per arrivare al Riassunto Monkey Island. Spero che il video vi sia piaciuto, mettete un like, commentate, condividete, ci vediamo al prossimo video, ciao!